Hey guys, welcome back to Toasty TCG. Today I got something really cool to show you guys with the upcoming Fallout commander, Dr. Madison Li. For everyone that doesn't know, this is one of the first energy commanders, like dedicated to energy. If you cast an artifact, you get an energy, and she has three payoffs. You can pay 1 to give a creature +1/+0, gains trample, haste, 3 energy to draw, 5 energy to reanimate an artifact. So those of you who have followed this channel for a while might be familiar with my 5-color energy deck with Prismatic Bridge. So this, as soon as I saw this, I had to jump on this and get a deck going because I love energy. It's such a fun mechanic. You do a lot of things that most other decks can't do. So as soon as I saw this, I got a proxy printed out. I've been testing it. It's really fun. But obviously it is 2 colors short, so we do have to pay respect to those we lost. Got a Demon of Dark Schemes, you know, that other guy that turns energy into mana. There's the one that like makes 8/8. So we lost like a tune with Aether too. It's definitely a lot of things that we lost. So we had to replace those with a few other cards just so like we can get a good payoffs off Dr. Madison Li. So I changed like green and black cards into like a little Cheerio pile, more mana rocks, things like that. So let's get into the deck profile first with, of course, the Cheerio cards. Just like Mishra's Bauble, Rose's Bauble, Lotus Petal, and 2 mana rocks. So these cards, of course, just 0 drops. You want to get them out. Like, even if you open them, you don't want to really cast them until you have Dr. Madison Li, so that way you get the additional payoff of getting an energy on top of what each card individually does. But they're also really nice if you do need them to pump out an early commander. Next up, we've got just like energy cards that just, the idea for these cards is just they generically make energy. They all have like some extra effects, so there's like utility to them, but they're not necessarily like combo pieces. Aether Swooper. For everyone that like is familiar with the old deck profile, the idea of this thing is when it attacks, you can pay 2 energy to make a servo, and when it enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. There's a whole cycle of these. There's 1 for each color. So of course we can't play the green and we can't play the black one. So we have blue, red, but we're not playing the white one because the white one is 4 mana. Has vigilance. It just felt very inefficient in testing, so I decided not to keep it in. So in this deck profile, we are only playing the 2 servo generators, Swooper and Chaser. One has flying, one has first strike, and they both make servos. So just like side-by-side comparison is like in the old profile, you had like Birthing Pod. We don't have Birthing Pod anymore. We don't have Time Sieve anymore, but that's okay. We don't really need them. So we don't really need the servo package too much, but it's just nice to have them. Just being able to generate like artifact creatures will still come up. And also they are 2 drops that make 2 energy. So it's a pretty even payoff. Thriving Turtle, 2 energy, and it's a 1-drop. Minister of Inquiries is 2 energy as a 1-drop. Aether Theorist is 3 energy as a 2-drop. Shielded Aether Thief makes an energy when it blocks, and 3 energy its card draw. Glassblower's Puzzle Knot, 2-drop that scries 2, makes 2 energy. For 3 drops, we have an Aether Sphere Harvester. Pretty worth mentioning, it is an artifact. ETB makes 2 energy. You usually don't crew it, but it's a 3/5 that can gain lifelink. Electrostatic Pummeler is huge. ETBs to 3 energy. And then you can pay 3 energy to double its current power. So it can go from a 1/1 to a 2/2, 2/2 to a 4/4, 4/4 to an 8/8, you get it. Janjeet Sentry. I considered making this go into the combo pile, the stuff I'm going to show you guys. Because for 2 energy, you can tap or untap something. But, I don't know, it just didn't seem like, it feels like more of a utility card rather than like a combo piece. Consulate Surveillance. This card is crazy. ETB, 4 energy, 2 energy, prevent damage of your choice from a source. This also doesn't target, so if you're playing against a Voltron player and they have like Hexproof, Shroud, Pro every single color to ever exist, Consulate Surveillance still gets around all that to prevent damage because it doesn't target. Aethertide Whale, ETB, 6 energy, 4 energy to bounce it. There's some cool interactions with this. It's not really necessarily a combo piece, but it's cool with some of the combo pieces. And finally, Multiform Wonder. ETB 3 energy, 1 energy to get some abilities, or 1 energy to get +2, -2, or -2, +2. Also an artifact, which is actually pretty relevant. Moving on to just like mana rocks. We got, so besides like the ones that we already showed, of course we got Soul Ring, Wayfarer's Bauble, Felwar, Sky Diamond, Fire Diamond, Marble Diamond, Azurius, and Boros, and Arcane. So you're playing like a lot of ramp in this deck, mostly because they're very low to the ground artifacts that help you continue extending combos if need be, minus these 3. On top of that, it's just like having cheap artifacts that get you energy with your commander. You just want to play like a lot of cheap artifacts. You can keep making energy and just like being able to sink your energy into different plays. But also, you know, just mana rocks. On a card draw, first off, we got Chromatic Star. This, of course, is just, it also technically makes a mana, and then it's also card draw. We got Esper Sentinel, card draw, plus it's an artifact. Ponder, Brainstorm, Headache Cat, Trinket Mage, search our 1-drops up, and Rhystic Study. Moving on to our removal, we got the Big Ol' Whale from the 5-color build. Upkeep, you get 3 energy, and then for 8 energy, it's a Psych Rift for all creatures. You can only do that sorcery speed, so it's not really a Psych Rift, but it's kind of a Psych Rift, kind of in the middle. You get 6/6 flyer out of it too. I really like this card a lot. It's one of my favorites. You got Harnessed Lightning. You target creature, you get 3 energy. You can use any amount of energy, deal that much damage at instant speed. Aether Spellbomb is an artifact. For blue, you can sack it to bounce a creature, or for 1, you can draw a card instead, but I feel like it's, usually I use it more as removal. Swords to Plowshare. Run Away Together. I like this card a lot because it serves 2 different functions. 1, it bounces a creature that's coming at you or is a threat. And then 2, you bounce a creature that has an ETB to make energy or something. So it really serves a lot of like really good function in this deck. Disenchant. Resculpt is Resculpt. Lion Sash is just Grave Hate. Deflecting Swat and Fierce Guardianship. And Confiscation Coup. This is you target an artifact or creature, get 4 energy, pay energy equal to that card's CMC to take control of it. As long as you control, just gain it. Yeah, it's actually not even enchantment or anything, so you just pay that energy and yoink that card. Now let's actually get into the part that people are most waiting for, is the combos. Energy combos are absolutely nuts. So this was the original combo that I feel like you really need to make sure that you know this combo. This is huge. Whirler Virtuoso, first off, makes your 3 energy, and for 3 energy, you get to make a Thopter. And then Gonti's Aetherheart. Now, most people know this for taking extra turns, but for this deck, the first ability is actually really cracked, because whenever it or another artifact enters your battlefield, you get 2 energy, and then Decoction Module, when a creature enters your battlefield, you make an energy. So, of course, you make 3 energy on ETB, you pay that 3 energy, and you make a Servo. When you make that Servo, or you make a Thopter, and when you make that Thopter, an artifact enters your battlefield, so you get 2 energy, and a creature enters your battlefield, so you get 1 energy, replenishing the 3 energy you just used. So this is a 3-card, infinite Thopters, and then if you have any other way to continue this, there's a lot of column pieces that will let you continue this. If you make infinite energy, you take an extra turn, and you swing infinite Thopters. That is basically the goal, the main play line if you're trying to win the game. Next combo, this one's a little more simple. Aetherworks Marvel, Unwinding Clock. Anytime permanent goes to your grave, you get an energy. Sometimes that comes up. But 6 energy, you tap it, you look at top 6 of your library, you cast 1 without paying its mana cost. Of course, the downside being that you tap it, so Unwinding Clock just untaps it. And if you have a lot of energy by the time that these come down, you can usually spin the Aetherworks Marvel over and over again and be very obnoxious, casting crazy things nonstop and assembling your combo across your opponent's turns. And speaking of combos, another one of your like main infinite energy pieces is Mystic Forge, top, and either Enthusiastic Mechanaut, which reduces your artifacts, or Foundry Inspector. All, of course, which are artifacts, so you get energy for casting them too. For those that don't know, reduces the cost of your artifact by 1. You can tap this to draw a card and put this on top of your library, and this lets you cast artifacts off the top of your library. So since this is a 1-drop, you reduce down to 0, you tap it, you draw a card, and then you can cast it again for 0 because it's reduced by 1, and you cast it off Mystic Forge. That's infinite draw, infinite energy. Usually that's going to close out game. Next up is more just like, this is just a combo piece. It doesn't combo things specifically. Like if you put it with the Foundry combo, you can do like some really interesting things here. Like if you put it with the top, you can start blinking like your stronger ETBs. So for example, something that I did recently was every time I was drawing, I was blinking my Aethertide Whale, which would allow me to make 6 more energy. So it was pretty much like I'd cast, I get the 7 energy, or the 1 energy for casting it, and my commander being on the battlefield, and then blink this, get 6 more energy. So I was getting like 7 energy a turn, or not even a turn, just like doing that combo over and over again. So Displacer Kitten, the combos aren't like direct. There's no like this card combos with this card, this card. This is more like you have to play this deck and play the kitten, and you'll see like combo lines as you're resolving other combo lines. Kitten just like adds like another layer of combo to your deck. I think it's super strong. It's my first deck playing Kitten. It was just insane. 2 untappers. This is Manamos Water's Edge and 1000-Year Elixir. These are just to untap your commander. So if you need to refetch combo pieces out of your yard, you can do that. And then if you need to fetch 2 combo pieces out of your yard, you have these to untap your commander and do it again. Or also, of course, if you need to draw. Next up, just like a bunch of more just one-off combo pieces. Starting with Aetherstorm Rock. When it or another creature enters your battlefield, you get an energy. I feel like this is pretty straightforward since I explained like the Whirler Virtuoso combo. Pretty much just adds another layer of getting extra energy for playing the game. Panharmonicon, deck has a lot of great ETBs. So this is pretty much another super straightforward thing, is you get your ETBs, you double your ETBs, and that typically results in you making more energy. Emery, Lurker of the Loch, to pretty much double as your commander, so you can fetch up more combo pieces from your grave. Also, I believe Emery casts the cards out of your grave, so you get your Dr.Madison Li trigger to make energy. Encroaching Mycosynth. So this is one of the very few cards that will directly combo with your commander, because it turns everything in, all your permanents into artifacts. The goal of this is that when you use it with your commander, you now have the ability to reanimate any permanent from your grave. Because she just says that you target an artifact in your grave, put it on the battlefield tapped. So Encroaching Mycosynth, make your all the permanents in your grave, all the non-land permanents in your grave, into artifacts, and now you can pay 5 mana to reanimate any permanent from your grave. Speaking of artifacts, both a Forge Master, sack 3 of them things, get an artifact out of your deck. One of the problems that I talked about this in my last profile for energy is that one of the problems with this deck is definitely recursion. So like besides like having this, Underworld Breach, pretty straightforward, just get combo pieces out of your grave. So like the idea is like you add an extra layer of protection. I think energy as a combo deck, if it goes off, it's very strong. But if it gets hit at the right choke points, I feel like this deck can be very fragile too. So these 3 cards add an extra layer of protection to your energy combos that the 5-color build didn't have. Underworld Breach was in the original, but that was, besides Demon and Dark Schemes, Underworld Breach was our only, like, real form of recursion. So, you have Dr. Madison Li to get back combo pieces. If they kill combo pieces or creatures like your Displacer Kitten, then you have this plus this, or you have this. So these are all just really good ways to make sure your combos can still function. Next up, Oswald Fiddlebender. So this is the only like pod type creature we were able to keep in the deck, since like Birthing Pod was green. So you know, you just you sack your artifacts, search your guys that are 1 mana higher. And what's really interesting here is, I explained this in the previous profile, like it kind of combos with these sort of. So they attack, they make a servo, and now you can sack those servos because they are artifacts to get your 1-drops, which means you can go into like your combo pieces that are still in your deck, like the top, or you can go into like a 1-drop and then next turn go into a 2-drop. So like there's definitely like some cool things you can do here with that in mind. But mostly it's just like Oswald just sacking things to get better things. But these do help Oswald out. Lightning Runner. This is like another standalone combo piece. The goal of this is if you can make that infinite energy, you can take infinite combats here, because when it attacks you get 2 energy, and then you can pay 8 to untap all your creatures, and then there's additional combat after that. So one line that I thought of, I think it's like, it's a lot of money, or not a lot of money, so it's a lot of mana. Pretty much same thing in terms of magic. But the idea behind it is you have your Lightning Runner and your Aether Squall Ancient. So like Lightning Runner is kind of small. So if you don't have like, say you don't have like infinite flyers off the Whirler combo, and you just have Lightning Runner, if you can get like this, which is 12 mana, so like it's totally understandable if that's not practical, but I think it's something cool to keep in mind is you can bounce all creatures, then cast your Lightning Runner, because it does have haste, and then you just win the game off of infinite combats that way. So that's pretty cool. But even if 12 mana is not like super practical, we still do play Urza, Lord High Artificer, so maybe we can still get there. He makes constructs, he turns our artifacts all into blue mana rocks, and if you really have nothing else going on, 5 mana, shuffle up your library, exile top your library, cast that card. Until the end of the turn, you can cast it without paying its mana. So, he kind of adds another layer to our other combos. Like, the Whirler combo makes infinite Thopters. He converts all our Thopters into blue mana. So there's a lot of cool things like that. Urza definitely adds, like, an extra layer to the deck that's, very much needed for, like, ramp. You make constructs that are going to be super big. And worst case scenario, you can use that last ability and try to dig up more combo pieces, because that's really like what this deck is at its heart. It's just like one big machine of just spinning your wheels, getting combo pieces, seeing how like card A clicks with card B, and like trying to add like card C in there, and like card C kind of usually like that third card isn't a major combo piece, but it like interacts with the 2 major combo pieces. So it's really cool seeing how it you have to like really play the deck, and as you play the deck you just like see how all the pieces work together. It's really fun. That's what I like about this, is it's not like a very linear combo deck. You're not like looking just like, you're not always looking for piece A and B and then you win the game. You're looking for like piece A, B, and then like 20 copies of different versions of piece C if you want. And then like typically there's like 20 different versions of piece C, so you have like, you can like put like 3 different cards that are all PCs on the battlefield, and then they all combo together. So there's a lot of interesting ways that this deck works, and like how you can just totally spiral out of control. It's very fun. So that's like all the non-lands. For the lands, the land base doesn't like really matter that much. The only card I'd say like you should be on is Aether Hub, because ETB makes an energy. Spire of Industry, tap, pay 1 life to get to get a mana, but you have to have an artifact for it. There should be a command tower in here, but I like kind of threw this land base together. So like the land base that I threw together, Exotic Orchard, Fabled Passage, Mystic Monastery, Sulphur Falls, Evolving Wilds, Field of Ruins, Storm Carved Coast, Temple of Epiphany, Frostboil Snarl, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 islands, 6 mountains, 6 planes. So yeah, the land base I kind of just like slopped together, I'm not gonna lie, because I was just so excited to finally get to play energy again. The reason I stopped playing the 5-color one is just like, it kind of felt too slow. The deck kind of depended way too much on Prismatic Bridge, and Prismatic Bridge really has like a target on its head. The card's like, it hits the battlefield, and within like, before it gets back to your turn, that card's usually not going to be there. Even if you're just playing like the silly energy deck, people are usually just gonna still target the Prismatic Bridge, because it is, in fairness, a pretty scary card if it resolves. So that's why I'm really relieved. Like, you have a 3-drop commander, it's dedicated to make energy, and it's one of just like a ton of other cards. I know like we had a Rex Cyberhound release, and I tested that card out. I just didn't really like it. It has to deal combat damage to make energy. It has like a Grave Hate ability, but it's like at sorcery speed. That's why I preferred Line Sash over it. Yeah, so I didn't really like Rex, but Dr. Madison Li is a really great commander. It does a lot of the things that I was leaning into initially with my 5-color commander, where it's just like there's like artifact synergy that are going on with energy. So it really took a lot of the things that energy already had going for it, and said, okay, here's your value engine too. And that's really great. I like this card a lot. It's very well designed. I'm really excited for the rest of this pre-con to be revealed, so I can see what else is going on. And you guys might see another energy deck profile in the future after that happens. But until next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about this energy deck and Dr. Madison Li. And catch you guys next time.